as a leader, it's helpful to have what are considered leading indicators and lagging indicators of appropriate behaviors and practices. A lagging indicator would be revenue. Similarly, a lagging indicator would be profitability. You see them after a period of time, after a period in which the behaviors that produce those results of revenue increases and profit improvements occur. Leading indicators would be such things as absenteeism, or the number of times people make suggestions for improvement to processes, to name just a couple. By paying attention to those leading indicators, having determined what those leading indicators are, and then tracking, measuring, and in many instances, receiving feedback regarding those leading indicators would give you a good idea of the trend line and of the probability that you will have those desirable lagging indicators of increased revenue and profitability. So if the objective is to increase happiness because you know that that produces more productive workers and that leads to greater profitability, then you will pay attention to happiness. And so you will create mechanisms to observe and measure the demeanor, the countenance, the behavior of people to see that they correspond with greater levels of happiness. So when meetings are held in small groups or large groups, what is the level of animosity or antagonism or conflict? You would want to see those reduced. To what extent are people coming into a room and greeting each other with greater levels of enthusiasm? To what extent are people, if you've set up an environment that allows for recognition randomly of colleagues by other colleagues, to what extent are people receiving and reporting on positive feedback and positive experiences? Those would all be examples of ways in which, as a leader, you can create an environment that fosters and encourages, recognizes, and rewards leading indicators of behaviors and countenance and demeanor and attitude, because you recognize how invaluable they are to producing increased profitability. And so you would have mechanisms in place to track and measure and report on the trends relative to those leading indicators.